Welcome back, everybody. It's Kaleb and I. We're here, and we're here alone.
Oh my goodness.
Feels very empty in the studio right now.
That's right. It's sad. We usually have someone sitting over here.
Yeah. Well, this episode is really to kind of talk a little bit about what we've done so far.
Yeah.
To look at, even just like talk about a little bit of the people that we've had on, our experience. I think it's been super new for both of us, and I have really enjoyed it. It's been really fun to have a lot of the conversations that we've been having. And as we're talking about this, even before we started recording, we're just going, how do we tell everybody kind of like what our next step is and kind of what our plan is? For those of you who are listening, I guess this would come out on the 8th of July. Is that right? 7th of July.
You know, I'm not good at math.
Whatever the second Monday in July is, which I think is the 7th. This episode will be out, and this is kind of a recap of the first season.
Yeah.
We decided to do seasons because we realized, and we were joking about this, like as we say, Sunday's always coming. Mondays for us started. Yep. Mondays started coming every single Monday. We're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. And so we want to not just like put out an episode to put an episode out. We want to make sure that every single one is like amazing. So we're taking the month off of July to really like bang a couple of episodes out, record some really, really great people that we have kind of in the hopper, and be able to come back at some point in August. I don't know exact date, so sorry everybody, to kind of re-release that and go into season 2, and that really kind of launches us through, the fall, and into Christmas. I can't believe we said Christmas.
Well, all of our audience is already thinking about Christmas. Hopefully,
I guess
they've had their creative meetings. They're planning for their services,
and everybody listening is going, "Yeah, right, man."
That's my aspirational
that's my
goal.
aspirations. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
But this has been fun. Like
absolutely.
I've really enjoyed it. I was thinking about, because I have to, for those of you who don't know, I cut all the social clips up, and it's really fun going back and going, oh man, that was really good. Like sometimes we record, I don't know if you feel like this, sometimes we record and go, I don't know if that's going to be good or not.
Oh, absolutely. You're just in the stream of consciousness thinking about, what's next and kind of how the conversation's flowing. And so to go back and re-listen and kind of be able to reabsorb some of those nuggets and insights and stuff, it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had, one of the things that I would love to know from anybody who is listening is like, we want to know your feedback. I think we could do this every episode forever and go, yeah, that was fun for you and I. But like, if ultimately we're here to serve the church and try to go, hey, like we want to provide a resource for you. It's the whole reason why we said we want to do this. We want to know feedback. Yeah. Like I think we've gotten a lot of feedback, like of people that we've seen in person. We've gotten a handful of DMs and stuff like that, and would love to hear more because it's important for us that we're still like shooting in the same trajectory of what we think people are wanting to hear and that would be helpful for the listeners. And so, if you have feedback, we want to hear about it. Yeah,
or even kind of, as you're kind of assessing the season that you're in with your team, like what are you guys wrestling through? What are the things that you're kind of processing? What are some challenges you're facing? I heard from one person who listens that they like listened as a team and then they were able to process together and kind of apply some of the ideas to what they were going through at their church. And so, all that kind of stuff is super helpful for us as we kind of craft what are the right conversations, who are the right kinds of guests, what are the right kind of topics to unpack that are really going to serve, the people who are doing the work, week in and week out at their churches.
Yeah, because I mean, as you guys have probably noticed throughout episodes, it's a very wide range of people. Like there was production people, producers, worship pastors, executive leaders, random people, not even in the church space, but church adjacent or ministry adjacent positions. And so,
and that's my favorite thing about it is like, I just love the breadth and the variety of points of view that we're able to hear, and just how, certain themes kind of come up throughout, like, I think that's one of the most interesting things is, we were talking in some of our first episodes about like, work inside the church and work outside the church. Oh, yeah. And how a lot of times people try to think that, or they'll sort of think like, oh, one is so different than the other. And it's like a lot of the same, building trust, integrity, like all these things are the same. and there are things that help you win in one space are going to help you win in the other space.
Yeah, there was a lot of overlap in a bunch of different episodes. I really wish, we'll have him back on. Mike Goldsworthy. We did have one episode, everybody, that didn't get aired because it didn't record correctly.
That's true. Big shout out to Mike because his conversation with us was
it was so
amazing.
Good. It was so good,
amazing.
I was very, very disappointed on the plane the next day when I was editing, and I'm going, oh my gosh, oh no, this audio didn't record correctly. It sucks. So we'll have him back on, but like even that episode, like for and you guys didn't even hear it. Like there's so much overlap between so many different guests that we had, like. Not knowing any of that other conversation or what was to come or anything like that. And so I think the thing that I heard the most was like a lot of burnout conversations. And I know that I feel like that's like, I never wanted to do an episode directly about burnout because I feel like every church podcast in any scheme talks about burnout, specifically if you're in ministry. But I was reminded because of all of those conversations that that's still like such a present thing, and I think everybody's lives who are currently in full-time ministry. And so, it goes back to, hey, why we did this was hopefully to encourage to go, hey, you can take another day, like you can do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, to keep doing what you're doing in ministry. And so if there are specific topics, even just about burnout, even alone, like of like a specific area or what to do, and I don't know. We want to find the right guests to have that conversation.
Well, or even like if you're listening and you've kind of wrestled through your own journey of, working through burnout or finding good rhythms or whatever, like we'd love to hear what worked for you. You know, what practices or points of view or kind of guardrails did you find really helpful as you kind of built a sort of a sustainable life and ministry balance? Like that'd be really interesting to hear.
Yeah, again, I just think it's so present in everybody's lives, and it's not this. Maybe it was the conversation with Mike. We were talking about like vacation doesn't fix all your problems. I don't remember if it was that episode or not. And going, hey, we're even for us, we're taking a break. In July, we're still doing some stuff, but making sure that the people who are in that season of, hey, if you're on staff at a church and taking your July vacation, like you're going to come back in August or whatever, September, whenever it comes back, and go, gosh, it's still here. Sundays don't stop coming.
Right.
It's
all the things
still.
that I got away from for a week or two. I'm just coming back to the same things.
Yeah.
And so like, that's good. You should get away. That's fantastic. But also, how are you creating a life that you don't need a vacation from? Right. Little baby steps in that direction. Maybe.
You're speaking to me because I just came back from vacation today.
And you hated it.
I was like, I don't want to wake up today. Yes. Yeah. That's a really good thing. One of the things like, this podcast, we had this dream of doing this for a long time. It took us a long time to actually get started. The only way that we're able to do this is through Amplio. Amplio has been very, very supportive of us to kind of run in a direction that we really didn't have any context of like where it would go or what was going to happen with it. We were just like, can we just try some things and just see kind of what happens? And so we're very, very thankful for them. This is, we're in, their space in a studio that we built, using their resources, and are very thankful for that. And so if you don't know who Amplio is, check them out at ampliosystems.com, AVL integrator. And, we do work with churches all over the country and, install audio video lighting systems and care more about the church than the gear that we put in. And that's part of the reason why this podcast came up. And we go, hey, we don't even need to, talk about it from Amplio's standpoint because we don't want to look like we're showing up to, only talk about that. And let's talk about other things that are more deep into the culture and everything that you guys experience on a daily basis working.
Because the goal is to support the people on the ground doing the ministry, the teams that show up every single Sunday, and like anything, from a technology standpoint, that's just a tool, right? That's just a tool to facilitate the work, the ministry, the relationships that are happening. Hopefully this podcast is again, another kind of tool that your teams can use, that you can use as your, resourcing yourself for ministry. That's something that's supportive. And that's really what Amplio is about in whatever different form that it might take, is resourcing, supporting, encouraging, investing in the local church. Kind of in that same vein, Kaleb, tell us about this other thing that Amplio does that's coming up called the
Worship Classic.
The Worship Classic.
So Amplio has put on something called the Worship Classic, which is a golf tournament for church leaders. If you play golf, okay, or if you don't play golf.
If you don't, I don't really play golf, and it's fine.
I played golf this weekend. I still shot up 100. And
better than me.
Hey, it was really fun. We had a blast. But anyways, the golf tournament is there. Literally, it's completely free. Your entire team can come. Your entire church can come if they want. It doesn't really matter.
That would be awesome if someone took us up on that.
Hey, man. Free golf, free food, drinks, cigars if you like that, all day. This year, it's in Dallas, Texas, the day before SALT Conference. So SALT Conference is happening on the 16th through the 18th of October. And the golf tournament is going to be on October 15th, 2024 in Dallas, Texas. The Worship Classic. You don't want to miss it. It's been awesome. I attended when I was in ministry twice before, I actually joined the team. And it was awesome. Yeah. I showed up and I was like, this is I don't know what we're doing here. Yeah. But there was no gotcha. This is why we got you here. No timeshare presentation.
No.
It was literally all right, you're here to golf. Here's your team. Go eat some food. Go grab a drink.
Yeah. It's really we were talking a minute ago about sort of creating, rest and refreshment. That's the goal of what it is.
Yes.
It's get away, do something fun, bring your team if you want to, and connect with other people that are in the ministry space.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's a day of just fun, connection, relationship, and it just happens to be adjacent to a really great conference. So if you don't know about SALT Conference, check out the SALT Conference. It's also a really great resource for your church.
It's amazing.
So right there, you've got a 1-2 trip to Dallas, and it's going to be awesome.
It is going to be really fun. So to register for that, you can go to theworshipclassic.com. Theworshipclassic.com. Or follow actually the Worship Classic on Instagram. Just type in the Worship Classic and you can follow them. And that's where I think all the updates are really coming from, and promos and stuff like that. And so we will be there. It'll be really fun.
Yep. So to recap,
maybe we'll record a podcast in a golf cart.
That's fun. I like that idea.
That would actually be really fun.
Yeah. We'll just roll mics all day long.
Dude,
we'll just cut together interesting moments.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Let's stick a camera right in front,
like the train guy on Instagram,
Yes. Oh, that's a good idea.
Real awkward.
Man, I'm a genius.
I mean, that's why you do what you do. But to recap, it's totally free.
It is totally free.
All you have to do is get to Dallas, register, hang out with you, your team, and a bunch of other people that are in the same boat as you, and it'll be great. And hey, while you're at it, go to SALT.
Yes. And I will just say, one of the things that we heard, this was a couple years ago, and I'm gonna I'll quote some of the Life Church guys who come, right? Life Church has one of the most well-known and incredible leadership senior pastors, Craig Rochelle. And their guys came and they're like, hey, we work for this incredible church with an incredible leader that every staff meeting is this TED Talk, right? That's amazing and incredible.
By the way, Craig, if you want to be on the podcast,
we would love to have you.
Just hit us up. Please. You can come on anytime.
Please. Warren Davis, if you could hook us up with Craig Rochelle to come on, that would be great. And those guys were like, hey man, we didn't really know what to expect. This was so life-giving and encouraging to us to be able to come out and just hang, spend some time. I think that year there was a round table the day before, and it was just really, really encouraging. Really, our goal was really just try to speak to the people that are in ministry. Literally, the conversations that we have on this podcast was no different than the conversations we were having with all these people that just happened to be, in that worship production creative space. And
the coolest thing about it, you just made me think of that talking about Life Church, is at that event, we have teams from one of the biggest churches in the country, and we have Lone Ranger pastors at a startup church of 50 people, right? And everything in between, and they're all able to come together, get to know each other, share their experiences, encourage one another, and it's just a really cool space.
Yeah. Networking for me when I was in, ministry was the only way that I felt like I stayed sane, even though it's like, I'm truly am an introvert at heart. I just pull my wing 7 out a lot.
So interesting.
It is. I just need to recharge afterwards.
That's fair.
Yeah. But those events were so amazing for me in ministry to be like, oh my gosh, there's another dude that has the same problems as me.
Yeah.
That is, I'd never met him.
And here's 2 or 3 things that I can now go try in my context that could be really helpful.
100%. So theworshipclassic.com, the Worship Classic on Instagram, follow it.
Yep.
That's where all the updates will be. October 15th, Dallas, Texas, the day before Salt Conference.
Yep.
So you don't want to miss it.
Yeah. And huge shout out to Amplio for their work putting that on and for supporting this podcast and everything they do to support the church all over the country.
Yeah. So going back to what I was saying a couple minutes ago, we want to hear your feedback.
Yep. And how should they provide feedback?
So
what should they do?
Probably one of 2 ways. Follow us on Instagram, Sunday's Coming Podcast. Send us a DM. We would love to hear feedback. We've gotten, a handful of things from you guys from that. We keep sending us that. And, not only feedback, people you think that should be on it, whatever. We would love to hear it. Or email hello@sundayscomingpodcast.com. That email will hit both of us and we can, respond and kind of connect with you in that way. And so, again, we're so thankful for where we're at today.
Yeah.
Starting episode 1 and going, I don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's been really amazing. So we're very, very excited.
And thanks to everyone who's encouraged us. I've heard, even just feedback. Someone stopped me at church yesterday and told me how much they were enjoying the podcast. So just appreciate that encouragement and really looking forward to the next run. We're going to have pastors, creatives, authors, even some of the guests that we've got in the hopper already are going to be super, super awesome. So cannot wait for those conversations and just kind of seeing where it continues to go.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you all again. And we will see you very, very, very soon.
Yeah. Take care.